My name is Charlotte Gonzalez, and I'm a language arts teacher in Fairfax County. I'm really excited to be with you today to work a little bit more on our writing. We're writing realistic fiction, and realistic fiction is so fun to write because it's all about things that really could happen in real life. In fact, sometimes some of the stories I write that are realistic fiction are actually based on things that have happened in my life or things I know about. So first, I'm going to teach you a little something about how to get some ideas. So writers get ideas for stories by making lists. I'm going to show you several different kinds of lists. You could try one or two, you could try all of them. It's totally up to you. But I started out in my writer's notebook, and that's where my lists are. You could use a writer's notebook, a piece of paper, a post-it note, sticky note, whatever you have. But I'm going to show you 4 different lists that I made in my notebook that I just wrote here bigger so you could see it. All right, so writers get ideas for stories by making lists. First, I'm going to think about problems in my own life or in the world around me. And I've already thought of a few. Again, I put in my notebook and I just wrote up here for you. One of the first things that came to my mind, a problem that's happening right now because we're on restricted traveling and my mom lives all the way in Washington State on the other coast of the United States. So she cannot come visit us as she had planned to this spring. Well, it's a problem that we're having. We're really missing her. Another problem that I know about from a friend is that she's graduating from college and her graduation was canceled. So we're trying to sort of figure out how we might still celebrate her and all of her accomplishments. Another problem that I see in real life is kids having meltdowns or fits in the grocery store. Maybe you've seen that, or your little brother or sister has done that, or maybe your mom told you you used to do that when you were a little kid. Another thing that's just kind of tricky these days, even though we're home all the time, is just keeping up with the chores around the house. I guess since we're here doing things all of the time, that we're constantly messing things up and then having to put things back together. And sometimes keeping up with that can be a struggle. So those are 4 problems that are going on. I could add more if I wanted to. This is one type of list you might consider writing on your own. Another list that I really enjoy writing about are feelings and then when I felt that way. So I thought about a moment or a time in life when I was proud, like the first violin solo that I did with a little orchestra back in 3rd grade. I was so scared, but then after it was all over, I was very proud. So I remember that. And that could happen in other people's lives in real life. Another feeling might be a surprised feeling, like when friends and family threw a birthday party for me I didn't know about. Another feeling could be anger. I remember being very angry with my little cousin David, who would pester me all of the time. Anything we did, he was such a bug. And yet he grew up to be a really close family member and really dear person. But I remember getting really angry at him. Other feelings could be ashamed or feeling guilty about something. I remember a time I was really struggling to tell the truth or not, and being very ashamed about deciding not to tell the truth, and then guilty about what happened because of that. Another emotion is feeling heartbroken, just so sad to the point that your heart just feels like it's going to break apart. And certainly that happened when our little pug dog, Chloe, passed away a couple of years ago. Though she had a wonderful long life and we knew she was going to pass, it was still very, very hard and sad. So feelings and when you felt them is another kind of list you could make to get story ideas for realistic fiction. Another kind of list could be memories that really happened, but that you could expand into a realistic fiction piece. So like maybe if it happened to you, you become one of the characters, rename the character or add characters to it, kind of elaborate, make it bigger or a little different, but based on something that really happened. So again, my memory went back to that first violin solo. I told you about my cousin David, and he was really a terror. And there was this big mess that he made with a cheeseburger that sticks in my head. I think I could probably turn that into a story. I could also turn a lovely moment I had with cousin David and our grandmother, who we called Mama, when she took us on a very special hike, just the three of us. I could write about that. So these are memories, actual things that happened that I could turn into a realistic fiction story, changing up the characters and expanding on it. The last way that I'm going to show you are lists of settings, places that you know a lot about. And these can be those everyday places. In fact, some of those are the very best to include in a realistic fiction story because a lot of people can identify and connect with it. So, for instance, like the school, the classroom, the cafeteria, the playground, those are places that would make great settings within a realistic fiction story. Again, grocery stores. I kind of went back to kids having fits in grocery stores and thought, wow, I'm in grocery stores quite a bit. Maybe not so much nowadays, but I have been my whole life. So grocery stores are a place I know a lot about, very familiar with. Certainly home and the different places around the home, like in the kitchen or the living room, the porch or the yard, your bedroom, wherever around home that is very familiar to you. Over my life, I've spent a lot of time in the car driving places, so that's another setting that could be helpful. And the last one I included here are restaurants. I've gone to a lot of fast food restaurants, the kind of restaurants where you sit down and the waiter or waitress comes over and helps you, the server helps you. So those are, again, familiar settings that I know a lot about that I could use in my realistic fiction story. Now, I've given you a lot of options, and you might even think of more. But the big idea here is to try to make your lists fairly quickly and then decide on one that you're going to go into your writer's notebook or a piece of paper and just start writing about. Not to worry about getting everything perfectly, just start letting those ideas come out, okay? So for me, I'm actually picking a memory that I think I'm going to expand. And if you watch some of the other videos around realistic fiction, you'll see a little more of this writing. But I think I'm going to pick when Cousin David made that big cheeseburger mess and just start writing about it. And then when I finish that, I might pick another one and just start writing about it. Okay? Just give it a go. Have fun doing it and coming up with your ideas. I hope you enjoy getting ready to write about realistic fiction. Thanks. Have a great day.